everyone. Hi. I am jumping on today for our daily healthy habits challenge and to talk about movement integration. So my name is Ashley and I'm a health coach, personal trainer and owner of Evo Prime Fitness Studio here in the Wet Sundays. And I am jumping to talk to you about movement integration and how you can incorporate that into your daily life. And of course, how you can utilize doTERRA essential oils and some of the other products to really enhance that and get the most out of your movement, but also to really use movement in a proactive health approach. So not just for looking good, but to really structure your exercises and movements on a daily basis to enhance health, contribute to preventing chronic illness, pains, discomforts, and things like that. So I've got a couple of notes here, make sure I cover everything for you. So as I mentioned in the brief, movement is crucial. It's an absolute critical element of our proactive healthcare. So exactly what doTERRA is all about. And the right kind of movement at the right time can really optimize your health. It is going to be there to help support overall health, to support hormone function and balance. It's going to help with sustainable energy, to enhance sleep, sleep patterns, improve and support brain function and emotions. So, and that's not even an exhaustive list of the benefits that you're going to get from physical activity and exercise. So, firstly, as with all daily habits, it's going to create a ripple effect in your whole life. Incorporating physical activity, movement, exercise. It really creates that whole ripple effect on your lives. If you're moving and moving well, you're feeling good, you're going to be inspired to eat better. If you're eating better, you're going to have more energy to move better. And it just starts to create this real knock-on effect throughout your whole life. You're going to start to make better choices. You're going to be feeling more positive. And just like the oils probably have done in most of your lives and how they've done in our lives, they really just opened a door and created a ripple effect throughout our whole life. So we were eating well and that helped us to make better food choices. And then introducing the oils really opened the doors to creating a low toxic lifestyle and just, again, creating that ripple effect throughout our whole life and contributing to a healthy lifestyle that is simple to live, that's simple, easy, and that you can really enjoy living. So we have physical activity. I'm going to start with physical activity and structured exercise because these are different, but they're both really important elements in minimizing illness and really optimizing your health. So physical activity is incidental daily movements that ideally you are doing on a daily basis. And they're done, so throughout the day, they are, hi Jackie. So throughout the day, these are things like your housework, your gardening, shopping, not online. Online shopping doesn't count as movement. Beach play, getting on the playground with the kids, parking further away from the shopping centers, things like that. They're your incidental daily movements. Now, structured exercise, is your specific training routines, specific training movements, exercises, so your gym workouts, they are structured exercise and usually have a specific outcome that you want to achieve from that, whereas physical activity is just, again, that incidental movement. So research shows, and a lot of research shows that hitting the gym 3 to 4 sessions a week for half an hour will have a minimal impact on reducing chronic illness in the long term when combined with a sedentary lifestyle. So if you are hitting the gym 3 to 4 times a week, half an hour to hour sessions, but you're living a sedentary lifestyle, you're sitting at an office job, you are at home watching Netflix all weekend. There's nothing wrong with Netflix, but watching Netflix all weekend or every night when you go home from work and you're not getting that physical activity, research shows that that's not making a huge impact on reducing chronic illness within the body. So this is versus someone, this is versus someone that is living an active lifestyle. So if they are regularly moving throughout the day, this could be this could be living an active lifestyle. So they're moving often throughout the day. This could be, you could be working an office job and still live an active lifestyle. You can be getting up and down off the desk every half an hour to hour, doing some light stretches and things like that. I'll talk about how to incorporate that later on. But just because you have a sedentary job doesn't mean that your lifestyle has to be sedentary. So this is going to actively reduce chronic illness later on in life. So combining the two together is a recipe for really creating the ideal environment for reducing chronic illness and optimizing your health. So that's living a living an active lifestyle and incorporating structured exercise. Those combined are really going to help to optimize health and wellness and also contribute to reducing chronic illness. Okay, so physical activity. I wanted to give you a few tips on how you can simply incorporate these into your lifestyle. So first one is incorporating a 5-minute morning movement routine into your daily habits. So you're already doing the drop of frankincense under the tongue, balance on the bottom of the feet. So you can very simply incorporate a 5-minute morning movement routine, and this can be really simple, gentle, comfortable exercises that is going to contribute to your daily movement patterns. Now, doing this first thing in the morning is really going to stimulate the lymphatic system. So that means that you've just been laying still for 8 hours, or reasonably still for hopefully 8 hours of sleep. So everything is lying quite stagnant in the body. So stimulating that lymphatic system is going to stimulate that waste product in and out of joint areas. That's why we feel really stiff and creaky when we wake up. So that's going to stimulate the lymphatic system first thing in the morning. You're going to create blood flow, circulation, hydration, and that is going to really start to kick everything else into gear for the rest of the day. So that's going to contribute to those physiological factors, but also to the emotional factors that you're up, you're moving, and you're ready to go. Now, combining this with a glass of water is really going to optimize that, because having a drink of water and then doing movement creates a bound hydration, which means that you are actually forcing that hydration and water as such into the tissue, into the blood, into the bones, into the tissue, into the muscles, and it's not just trickling as a visual, it's not just trickling through the body. So one of the big things that we hear from people when they say, oh, but if I drink too much water, I'm just gonna have to get up and go to the toilet lots of times, is that we actually team that drink of water with some kind of movement, and it doesn't have to be crazy exercise. So even if you're throughout the day having a drink of water and teaming that with some movement, you're actually going to force that hydration into the areas of the body that actually need it. And your body's going to be able to absorb that and really use it, rather than just drinking for the sake of drinking your 2 to 3 liters of water a day. Does that make sense? You with me? So then we've got, creating that morning movement routine for you. I can feel myself getting the urge to get up and show you a couple of things, but basically it doesn't have to be anything really crazy. And I will show you, because 5 minutes of movement first thing in the morning doesn't have to be hard. And this can be really simple. Literally getting up, feet on the floor, having a nice big drink of water, and some simple movements, which just could be a sit and reach. So if you can see me, just like a squat, sit and reach, reaching towards the ground and up overhead, literally just stretching type movements. They're gonna feel really good. Whatever's comfortable for you, the arms, the legs, and that's all it needs to be, is just 5 minutes of gentle, comfortable movements, and that is really gonna set you up for the rest of the day. So then we've got moving often throughout the day, and you can use triggers for these and go back to really creating habits and habit formation. So using a trigger could be something that you're already doing throughout the day. That's usually the easiest way to create a new habit, is to team it with something that you're already doing. So whether it's having a drink of water when you wake up, when you're popping the frankincense underneath the tongue and your balance on your feet, you're just gonna get up and move with that. Or when you're brushing your teeth, you're gonna get up and do some movements while you're doing that. Teaming it with something that you already do every day is a really great way to really make that habit stick. So next to that is by having a reminder. So I find this really helpful for people too when you're starting to form a new habit. So if you do have a fairly office job or sedentary type job, there are apps that you can get for the computer, or you can use it on your phone. You can just set a reminder in your phone and as a recurring reminder. So it can recur every hour, every half hour, however you would like to do that. Reminding you to have a drink of water, stand up and just move. Now, I'm calling BS on everyone that says they don't have time for this when they're at their office jobs, or that people are watching them and will think they're being unproductive. Because if you have that drink of water and do that, just that couple of minutes of get up and move, you are going to increase brain function and activity. You're going to increase focus, that blood flow, circulation. It's going to go right through the whole body. So the I don't have time just doesn't really cut it. Your health is more important, and it will actually help you to be more productive. Then we've got, you've likely heard this before, but another way to incorporate incidental movement and physical activity is by parking further away from the shops and walking that bit further to the shops. It's so simple, but it really can just start to create that knock-on effect of habits, of getting that, looking for ways to incorporate a little bit of extra movement. Getting on the playground with your kids. I'm usually that crazy mum that's on the playground with their kids, on the monkey bars, doing all the fun stuff that I had a big gap from between finishing that and having my own kids. So just get on the playground with your kids and move around, because that's the kind of movement that you're not doing in the gym. That generally, yeah, unless you have a playground at your gym, maybe, I suppose. But it's really crucial to incorporate those varied type movements. And setting reminders was the next one I had. So having those reminders, which I already touched on. So they're just a couple of simple ways that you can start to incorporate physical activity throughout your day. And I'm going to touch on after how to incorporate the oils into that. But as a little brief over those physical activity parts, you could quite simply is adding oil to your water bottle. So if you are sitting at the desk having some Smart and Sassy, I like Smart and Sassy, my hubby likes peppermint, or even some lemon in your water bottle, and having a sip of that, that's going to also help prompt you to get up and move. It's going to give you that, help to increase that focus a little as well. If you're someone that does do this, if you don't already, it's a good idea to, but if you've got like your Smart and Sassy, or you use your peppermint for focus when you're at the office, and popping it under the tongue, back of the neck, get up and move with that. Just do it together, just add it in. Then you can also use something if you're using like your motivators, a pure fume and things like that. So I'm going to add in a few key points for those after at the end. So then we've got structured exercise. So structured exercise, we also have the importance of variability in your movement and exercise styles and training intensities. So incorporating variability into your training style, into the exercises, into the intensity really helps to create a resilient body and mind. And my light's just gone funny. So that's going to be really important, because if you're doing the same movements, the same exercises day in, day out at the gym, you've got a program that you go in and do, and it's changing but very slightly, and you're not incorporating that physical activity, that's where we can really start to see issues. Now, there is still the importance of doing those that kind of particular of structured exercise, but it's important to incorporate variety as well, because when you step out the doors of that gym, if you're not creating a nice, strong, resilient body, which is generally why we go to the gym, to feel and be nice and strong, is that when you walk out of the doors of that gym and you step into real life, and real life happens, and stress happens, and kids running across the roads and you need those jerky movements, or you're walking the dog and it takes off the other way, anything like that is really multiplanar motion. So you are moving in a three-dimensional way, reaching down to get the pots out of the drawer, lifting a heavy pot off the stove. You're generally not setting yourself up in this perfect squat position to reach and move things around. So you need to keep that in mind as well when you're training. So if your structured exercise only incorporates going to the gym and lifting heavy weights, then you're not creating a resilient and strong body when it comes to real life. So that still has its place, but it's important that you are creating variety within your structured exercise as well. Does that make sense? Go. Okay, so you may be training somewhere that does incorporate variability. So maybe like us here, where you are actually training those three-dimensional movements into your structured exercise and into your routines. But if you're not, having a variety, scheduling in a variety of exercises could be really important. So that could be your group fitness classes with some heavy strength training and some yoga and some other form of like group fitness, like cardio, strength, endurance type training, I'm thinking. So you need to really schedule your exercises around creating variability, because that is going to be crucial for creating a resilient body as well, and for optimizing your health and wellness. So if you're not programming variable exercises, your trainer is not programming variable exercises into your program, then you do really need to be scheduling your own variety of exercises throughout the week or throughout a monthly cycle as such. Okay, I hope you're still with me. So there are a few reasons for this. So as well as creating that resilient body, it's also going to stimulate the neurological and the neuromuscular components of the whole body system. So it's going to keep you excited as such. So it helps to prevent getting bored with exercise. If you are someone that struggles to get up and go to the gym, or struggles to get up and go and exercise, or with that motivation, having that variability is going to help to trigger that emotional response to exercise and make it more positive. Then also combining movement with the brain function and learning of new movements has been shown to have a really high impact on reducing chronic illnesses such as Alzheimer's, dementia, and other kind of brain-affected chronic illnesses. So for that, you are going to, your action plan, or I hope that you take this as an action plan, is to create your own, and it doesn't have to be the same every day, but a 5-minute daily morning movement routine and regular movement reminders throughout the day. Then also scheduling in your workouts as a non-negotiable and creating variety within your scheduled workouts. Okay, so That's your action plan for the movement side of it. Now, the next part I wanted to go through, and I'm not going to go into this too heavily, it's just something that I wanted to touch on and bring up because I wanted to talk a little bit about how you can not make exercise easier, but easier for you to implement exercise. So if you're not already doing it, finding ways that you are actually going to enjoy doing it and that it's not a struggle all the time. We've got the flip side of both of those. So we've got then the people that are overtraining perhaps or forcing themselves to get up and go to the gym on days that they really don't feel like doing it. And hopefully this next part will help you to decipher the difference between just being lazy and you do need to actually get up and move and go to the gym, or not even go to the gym, just get up and move and do some kind of physical activity or exercise, versus you actually needing to rest your body and to recover and to let things settle down. So I'm just going to touch on, I'm going to keep this one fairly brief. Now, I know that we have lots of variety of groups of people in here. So this next part's for the women. Sorry, guys. But I also wanted to touch on the peri and post-menopausal side of it as well. So I'm going to touch on that first. And then I'm just going to briefly talk about scheduling in workouts around your cycle as well. So I just wanted to, I understand that there's those different kinds of people. So listening to your body, so that scheduling around your cycle isn't as relevant for your post-menopause and even in menopause and post-menopause, but it's really important to listen to your body and listen to the different stages you phase through those, because once you hit that post-menopause stage, hormone levels remain low, and we know that hormones play a crucial role in loads of body function. So it plays a role in bone density, in energy levels, all those kinds of things. So so this does actually leave you, I'm trying to stay movement focused. So this will also leave you susceptible generally to conditions such as osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, and depression and things like that. So despite seeing a rise in depression through all ages. But all that means quite simply is that you need to focus on training styles that will counteract the symptoms that you might be having due to the change in hormones. So weight strength training, heavy stuff becomes a little bit more important because that's going to help that chemical reaction that helps with bone density. So you need to work a little bit more on that because the hormones aren't there supporting those body functions. Does that make sense? Good. Cool. So now, at the end of the day, this doesn't mean you're too old for anything. So by no means does that get you out of exercise. If anything, it means that things might be a little more level once you hit that postmenopausal stage. Now, the average, and I say this because the average age of clients in our studio is actually around 48 to 50. So and I'm the youngest person here at our studio. So there's no too old for anything either. That's a BS excuse too. So they are doing all the kinds of things that everyone else is doing at our studio. So I've got 60 and 70-year-old clients that are still doing the Turkish get up. They're still doing ground to stands. They're getting up because if they have grandkids and they want to stay healthy or they want to just keep moving, you are going to lose it if you don't use it. So they are still doing all of these kinds of things, and it's just that we have a higher focus on certain elements of the weight training, for example. So at the end of the day, it's really about training smart, not training about more or harder. And as goes pretty much the whole aspect of health and wellness, it's about being smarter in what you do. Okay, so as I mentioned, I don't want to go, I'm not going to go hugely deep into these, and I'm going to add in a couple of links for you that you can jump in and do your own research, because everyone is still very unique. So I just wanted to touch on that and really, I guess, inspire you to take ownership a little of your movement without the I'm too busy excuses, my kids are in the way, and I guess things like that. Some of the ones that I get. Okay, so let me just make sure I cover all of those. All right, cool. So the other thing is that we see people that stop training altogether when they're menstruating, like that. And we see people that either stop training altogether rather than changing and adjusting their movement routines. And so I want this just to inspire you to maybe start looking into it for yourself and plan out your own, because it can be really hard to get back into good routines if you're just crashing for a week every month. And it is just a normal function of life as a woman. So this, again, just really about empowering you to help find a balance, and just like the oils, it spills over into all aspects of your business. So being able to structure your exercises around cycling can help, helps you to kind of look at structuring loads of things around cycling. So your business activities can really relate to this as well. So it's up to you to find that balance. Now, this is just a typical guideline, and monitoring your own cycles is really important. This isn't personalized information. So let's jump in. Firstly, we've got the menstruation phase, which is days 1 to 7. Typically during this phase of the cycle, progesterone is at its lowest, so we generally have those tiredness, low mood tolerance, not really feeling very sociable, withdrawn, and we tend to be going a little bit more internal at this time. So if you're scheduling your exercises around this, that might look like taking a day off, perhaps not the whole week, taking a day off, letting yourself sleep in, ensuring that you schedule the me time in there, some meditation, more restorative type stuff, and more restorative exercises. So this might be time for your short walks or a long stroll rather than a power walk. Really getting out there, just experiencing nature. Yoga, stretching type exercises, your Tai Chi, or getting to the gym or personalized training studio for some recovery-based exercises. So we do this here and help people structure around that. So I often have people check in with me at that time of the month, and so we'll shift around their specific program for that week or for that day as well. So really just taking it down a level, back to that low intensity type exercise recovery movements. Then we've got the follicular stage. So then you're heading into that 8 to 14 days, days 8 to 14 of your cycle. And during this, we see that increase in follicle stimulating hormone, estrogen, and testosterone as well. So everything's starting to increase. This is the body preparing for the baby stage. Ideally, it's preparing for the baby stage every month if everything's going to plan. And this is where we start to get that extra boost of energy, better moods, brain function. We're starting to feel stronger, powerful, and probably a little more outgoing as well. So scheduling your exercise around this, you're looking more at your hardcore-ish type workouts, your powerful workouts, nice strong workouts, metabolic conditioning. So you might be looking at a little bit higher intensity workouts as well. Some strength and power movements incorporated into that structured exercise components. So we've got, next we're heading into ovulation. So we're looking at days 15 to 21 here. And again, this is all variable. So tracking your own can be really beneficial. And during this phase of the cycle, we've got estrogen and testosterone both sitting at their highest, both sitting at their peak here. This means we're at our peak balanced emotional state. We're feeling really confident as well. So that's going to inspire us to feel better while we're moving. Now here, we're looking at more maximal strength type workouts. So we're stepping it up a little. You might have more I don't want to say go too in depth of your programming type, but you're looking at, I guess, your more stable, heavy kind of stuff, because the relaxin hormone is also increasing here as well, which can make us a little bit more, I guess, unstable in your balancing and your dynamic type movements. So you're looking at kind of that maximal strength, some resistance and strength endurance, so a little bit more of the longer, heavier type stuff. Challenging exercises neurologically, so our brain function is at its highest here as well. So if you want to go out and try something new or learn something new, some dance classes, or dance might not be new for you, but you want to learn some new kind of movements or try some new exercises, this is a really good time to do that. It's going to leave you feeling a little less frustrated, I suppose, than if you're doing it at a different time. Metabolic conditioning, your cardio, heart rate type exercises as well. Cool. So then we're heading into the luteal phase. So this is the end of the cycle, and this is days 22 to 28, ideally, if you're on that perfect 28-day cycle. So again, this is just a guide. And during this phase is where we see the estrogen and progesterone start to drop, and progesterone increases. So it kind of spike increases as well. So here is where we're really looking at those really starting to, the start of this part is going to be high energy still. So as you're phasing past that ovulation, we're still going to have the high energy. So we're still going to be feeling nice and strong and confident at the first couple of days. And then as we head into the last sort of 4 days of this phase, then we're really starting to come back down again. So we're coming back down to more restful poses, more restorative poses, your yoga, your Tai Chi's again. And that's going to help us to head nice and smoothly into the menstruation phase, so back into the start of the cycle again. Instead of going really high intensity and hard and not really supporting the hormones to do what they're doing and getting that crash into the menstrual part of the phase. Okay, is that helpful? Hope that kind of gives you a guide of to where you might, even when you're doing this, you might have been thinking of other areas of your life that you might be able to structure around that as well. So that's a little bit about structuring exercises around those. Dr. Marisa Snyder also has a really good podcast episode on that as well. So I'll grab that and link it in the comments for you afterwards too. Cool. Now I also just want to touch on pelvic floor and the importance of finding the right kind of movement for you. Now the reason I wanted to touch on this as well is because this pretty much affects all stages of women, and it's one that I see a lot that, or when I talk to people a lot, can be quite a burden or quite a restriction for them not to exercise. So a lot of women I talk to feel really reserved and don't feel comfortable or confident going out to exercise because of pelvic floor issues. Now again, I'm just going to keep this one fairly brief because this is a huge topic, and there's so many different components of this that are crucial for programming and exercising. So the main thing that I wanted to say firstly is that if you have any pelvic floor issues or suspect any pelvic floor issues, go and see a women's health physio, get a referral, go see a specialist. That's absolutely crucial. So head over, organize to do that ASAP, because it will change your life. I can promise you that it will change your life. Now, firstly, pelvic floor issues are super common, like super, super common, and it's not normal. I'm stating that right now, just because it is so common, and every second, if not 2 out of 3 women that you, if anything, 2 out of 3 more than your every second woman talks about pelvic floor issues or says, and I remember this so often, people saying to me when I was pregnant, oh, well, just wait till, or even before I was pregnant, just wait till you have kids. Just wait till you have kids. Like, it's just normal. You just pee yourself all the time and things like that. Like, it's terrifying. It's super common and it's not normal. So if you have any issues, go seek a professional, go get set up an appointment, go see a women's health physio or some kind of specialist or another female specialist, because it's really important. And like I said, it will change your life. So any of those so basically the pelvic floor doesn't work in isolation. You must include the diaphragm, abdominals, lumbar muscles, and pelvic floor in pelvic floor exercises. So if you're doing Kegels or pelvic floor exercises and you're not incorporating your breath or specific activation through the abdominals and muscles at a specific time with the pelvic floor, you're doing them wrong. And you could be doing more damage than good. It's really important that you nail the pelvic floor exercises and that you're breathing with them and doing them properly. I've done a video on how to do pelvic floor exercises with all of this. So I will link that in the comments as well, because it's really simple. And once you know how to do it, it's amazing. So I'll link that video in there of how to do pelvic floor exercises properly using the whole intrinsic core and then incorporating them into movement. This can have you thriving through exercise. So incorporating pelvic floor exercises, incorporating the pelvic floor into various exercises and your training will not only have you feeling so confident and emotionally confident and better about exercise, but the physiological changes that you will see are huge as well. Because the pelvic floor is directly linked with the abdominals and the back muscles, the lumbar and thoracic muscles, then this is having an impact on your core strength. This is having an impact on your whole body strength, on lower back pain. All of these kinds of things are affected by the pelvic floor. So incorporating the pelvic floor and proper pelvic floor exercises into your movement and structured exercises, just a gentle lift at the right time of a movement, can really create wonders in your whole world. So I wanted to touch on that. I'll link a video in how you can do those properly, but do seek specialist advice if you're having pelvic floor issues. So often how you might know that pelvic floor issues that I often see, or issues that pain, discomfort that people have that I often see are related back to the pelvic floor, are things like lower back pain. And this can be from a cesarean 20 years ago. It doesn't have to be from a natural birth. A cesarean 20 years ago can have that built up scar tissue that is directly going to affect the lower back. So that's a big one that I can see, and they can be pretty simple, straightforward fixes. Okay, so that's absolutely crucial that you start really look at it as a whole. So we've got things like lower back pain. We've got the core synergy. So just not feeling any difference in the abdominal or the core strength when you're doing typical core strengthening exercises. If the pelvic floor strength integration is not there, then that whole intrinsic core isn't going to strengthen the way you would like it to. So to really optimize that, the pelvic floor is crucial. So that's that deep intrinsic core strength you're going to get. Then we've got breathing issues. They can be reflective of the pelvic floor as well, because the pelvic floor is directly linked with the diaphragm, as I mentioned before, the abdominals and the lower back muscles, lumbar and thoracic muscles. The list goes on, so that's not exhaustive at all. But things like lower back pain, core strength, breathing issues, things like that can be influenced from the pelvic floor. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to kind of say about that. So again, pelvic floor has the physiological benefits, but also the neuromuscular benefits as well. So I hope that's a little bit helpful for you, or if anything that it triggers you to start to look at it and see that as an important factor of movement and exercise for you, because it shouldn't be a hindrance to exercise because of these kinds of things that aren't really talked about and that you probably or might not have known about. Cool. So I'm going to go over briefly. How am I going for time? Cool. Cool. So I am right on track. I am going to go through a couple of daily sort of protocols that we use with incorporating oils into movement. So daily ones, pre-workout and post-workout. Also pre, during workout and post-workout. Okay, so honestly, doTERRA have done a pretty good job of keeping this nice and simple, which I absolutely love. So I probably don't have too many surprises here about using oils to enhance movement, exercises, motivation for movement, and things like that, because I like to keep life simple all around. That's how we maintain our healthy lifestyle, is by keeping things nice and simple. And yeah, doTERRA has done a pretty good job of complementing this. So firstly, I've got Smart and Sassy. So as part of your daily habits anyway, you're using this in your water bottle, I hope. So hubby prefers peppermint. I prefer the Smart and Sassy. So a drop of this in my water bottle daily, especially when you're out running errands, things like that, you're taking a swig, and that refreshing drink of water is reminding me to park a bit further away from the shops and walk that little bit extra. So Smart and Sassy in the water bottle, that's the Athletic Active Blend in Australia, or Metabolic Blend if you're buying it from the US. And so that's really going to help to support metabolism, energy, focus. It's really got that uplifting feel about it. So Smart and Sassy in the water bottle every day. Now, I also like to pop this one under the tongue. So I just pop a drop under the tongue or the roof of the mouth and on the back of the neck to really help to get that focus and motivation going all the way through. Then we've got Motivate, so as a perfume. So when I get up in the morning and I'm doing my daily movement, 5-minute morning movement routine, I am usually, while my bone broth is heating up on the stove, I'm going to pop some Motivate on. I love this one when I'm feeling a bit sluggish or I just need that bit of a pick-me-up reminder, Motivate. So I pop that one on the back of the neck, the temples, and just as a perfume. So I'm rubbing that all over, and then I smell like candy canes. Smell like candy canes for the rest of the day. I'm convinced that one smells like candy canes. So we've got Motivate, your sugar fix without the sugar. Then we have got, honestly, that's kind of what I'm doing on a daily basis, to be honest. And I've got the frankincense under the tongue. That's how I'm starting it. They're just the absolute basics of what I would be doing every day. I also pop a drop of the copaiba and yarrow plum under the tongue as well. So then we've got, as a pre-workout, especially on those days when I am feeling a bit sluggish and need to get my butt into gear, I like copaiba. So I've got a drop of copaiba under the tongue, and or Smart and Sassy. Again, hubby likes peppermint, so I'm going to go out and daring limb here, and I'm actually not a lover of peppermint. Most of you are probably cringing, but I'm not a lover of peppermint, but my hubby really loves it, so he's all over the peppermint. I like the peppermint in the Smart and Sassy though. I'll go with that. So that's mine, under the tongue, roof of the mouth. Then, copaiba for that as well. Then I'm using Ice Blue. Now, I can use Ice Blue as either a pre-workout or only as a post-workout. I like to use it as a pre-workout when I am in that hardcore phase. So when I'm in that, follicular stage, and I'm just ready to really go and train hard, then I'm going to pop the Ice Blue on before a workout. I pop Easy Air on the chest before a workout as well. So on the chest, that's going to help to open up the airways, help you breathe, get more oxygen in, and really help you feel nice and fresh all the way through the body. So the Easy Air I'm popping on the chest before a workout. Again, you might just use a peppermint. I also like past tense. So I kind of alternate between the Ice Blue and past tense. So Ice Blue I'm using more in my, hardcore sort of workouts. Past tense I use if I'm doing a bit more of a cruisy workout, but I just am feeling sort of tight and know I need to move. So I'm using past tense for that as well. So usually just around the shoulder area. Now also, I forgot this, to say this. On the daily basis, so on the first one, on that daily protocol, I'm absolutely using my lifelong vitality supplements on a daily basis. They are going to kick you into gear as well. It's giving you that, we heard Chantel talk about those last week, and that's phenomenal. If you haven't read that, if you didn't listen to that, go back and listen to that last week. It's absolutely amazing. So we are taking the lifelong vitality on a daily basis, and the Mito 2 Max also. So I'm taking that one on those pick-me-up days when I really need a boost in energy. That's that energy and stamina complex. So the Mito 2 Max is the one I'm taking then. Cool. And then I also like to reapply my Motivate perfume before a workout as well. So I'm rubbing that all around and I'm smelling really great. Obviously, I'm usually training here by myself, but if you're heading into a gym or out and about, you're going to smell absolutely phenomenal while you work out. So I'm going to finish off with some post-workout oils. And so we've got, as a post-workout, maybe not straight away, you might be doing it at the end of the day, depending on what time of the day you're doing it, a nice Epsom salt bath, or some magnesium salts, magnesium flakes, anything like that. And I'm adding in some Aroma Touch or Ice Blue into that as well. So I've got Aroma Touch, or I don't have the Ice Blue oil handy, but you can pop some of the Ice Blue oil into that. I set myself up. I'm not a big bath person personally, but I set myself up a bath the other week. The Aroma Touch, magnesium, everything. I put poop in bed. I come back out and Cody was sitting in my bath, so it wasn't quite as relaxing as I would have liked. But I'm sure one day when they've all left home, I'll be really sad about having to have a bath for myself. So next I've got the Ice Blue. So the Ice Blue I'm applying on specific areas. So if I know I've done a workout and instantly I'm like, oh, my butt and legs are a bit sore, then I'm going to pop some Ice Blue onto those specific areas. And if it is a bit of DOM, so those couple of days after, I might add some Ice Blue rub with the Ice Blue oil as well. Then I've got the Copaiba under the tongue as well. So I'm a Copaiba under the tongue every night. Dr. Hill likes Copaiba. He takes the Copaiba capsules before I work out. I've heard him say before. So Copaiba I like as a recovery one as well. So you could put that on topically, or you could take that internally, however you prefer. Okay, that's all my little collection. That's all of the oils. I'm done. I hope that that's been helpful for you. I know that was kind of a lot of information condensed, but I do hope that you found something that was relevant for you. I hope you feel inspired to go and do a little bit more research perhaps into your training styles when you're training, because it truly can optimize your whole life. On top of the physiological health and wellness benefits, you can feel a lot more empowered and powerful yourself when it comes to really structuring your movement around your life, and not being too hard on yourself. If you don't hit the gym, it's really important to phase in those recovery weeks. Recovery is just as important as movements and workouts themselves. Awesome. Thanks, Lou. Excellent. Well, I hope that's been helpful for you all, and anyone that knows me will be super surprised that I finished within an hour, because I can very easily get carried away talking. So thanks everyone, and have a wonderful day.